Welcome back, Travel Bags! Today we're taking you on a hidden gem hike in the Westfjords, the Valagil Waterfall hike. We'll cover how to get here, the views from the hike until the first waterfall, and what to expect on the trail. If you're looking for something that not many people get to do in Iceland, this is perfect for you. We drove from Ísafjörður, which is Iceland's most northwestern town, and it's a 20-minute drive to the waterfall. In October, we were told that you actually don't see many hours of true sunlight in Ísafjörður. During this time of year in October, in order to see sunset, many people go to the area around the pier. If you're around that area, we highly recommend to check out Café Sol, which is a homey cafe place run by the sweetest lady.
It's kind of the airport, but that's back there. It's really tiny.
When driving from Ísafjörður to Valagil, you'll actually pass the small town of Sudavik. There are some lodging options here, but the area is actually very quiet, so I would recommend staying in Ísafjörður instead. One thing to know about getting to this hike and around the Westfjords in general is that you must rent a car. A 4x4 is generally recommended, especially if you're going on any other time than the summer, because the weather conditions may change and some of the roads in the Westfjords are not yet paved. As you approach the turn for the waterfall hike, you'll see a small sign that guides you. The road actually into the parking lot is paved, but you'll just have to watch out for little potholes. To get the most precise location, we recommend downloading the All Trails app. On the Valagil Waterfall hike, there will actually be directions to the trailhead, and that gives you, in what we found, the most accurate location.
We're the only people here at the have our coffee. Make sure to bring out what you bring in.
So the Valagil Waterfall hike is a 20-minute drive from Ísafjörður. There's actually two waterfalls, which we learned while we were on the trail. So the first one, which is what we did, is about 2.5 miles round trip. And then the second one, to get to both, it's about 4.5 miles round trip. So just plan accordingly. If you're only going to the first waterfall, it'll take about 1.5 hours. And if you're going to the second waterfall or both of them, then it'll take about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how many stops and how slow you guys walk for photos.
It's insane.
So the trail itself is actually really easy to follow. There are wooden sticks with blue markings on them all the way to the first waterfall. So I read that there's also the same markings with yellow paint on them to the second waterfall, but we also always use All Trails, and I'll link the actual hike in my description below so you guys can use that to navigate the trail as well. So most of the hike is actually relatively flat. If you're only going to the first waterfall, you're going to gain about 150 feet. And then if you're going to the second, you're going to gain about close to 700 feet. The majority is actually very flat, and it's not until the last few minutes to the waterfall that you get a steady incline. You do have to just be careful to make sure to wear waterproof ankle top boots, because there are some gravel crossings and stream crossings that make it a little bit tricky, especially if it just rained or snowed a few days before. So the beauty of this trail, and actually the Westfjords in general, is just how alone with nature you are. So this area, this trail, is actually one of the most isolated areas of Iceland and probably the world. So when we were hiking this trail, we didn't see anybody. And I think even during the summer, it's quite isolated. So if you're willing to kind of travel off the beaten path, this is absolutely stunning. You can hear the water trickling down from the mountains. You can hear any cars in the distance that do pass by, but there aren't that many. You can hear the birds chirping as they're flying by. And so it's just absolutely peaceful.
Apparently you can drink this water. Glacial water. That's where it's coming from? Yeah, let's go that way. It's less bush. Oh, very cool. kind of see.
Okay.
7 minutes since we stopped. So now we're on the other side. And we walked about 0.4.
A really unique thing about this hike is actually somebody built this metal box in 2009, and inside is actually a notebook which people that have done the hike have signed. So it's withstood 15 winters, and it has a collection of all the people that have signed that have been there. So just for privacy, we didn't look through all of it or any of it, and we just signed our names, but this was a really cool feature of the hike. Here you can see we're actually finally approaching the bridge and the first waterfall, and you can see the steady incline up compared to the flat ground before. As you can see, there's actually no barriers to designate where you can and cannot go. So just a couple of things to keep in mind is try to stay where the path is. Don't tread on any of the nature or any of the plants that are growing, because we've seen a lot of tourists doing this throughout the trip, and Icelandic moss and their nature really takes a long time to grow, especially because of the conditions. So just try to stay on the path. The other thing to keep in mind is you can actually get right up close to the water. However, it was really slippery for us since it just snowed that. So just be mindful of how your footing is, and don't go in places that may seem a little tricky. So here are the views. We decided to cross the bridge before turning back just because it gave you a better view of the waterfall itself.
We're leaving now. We spent maybe 30 minutes just taking photos and listening to the waterfall. But now the sun is coming, so we'll take you a little ways on the way back, and then probably not the whole way back though, because you guys have already seen the important part. Just be prepared. If it was windy in this area, then it would be pretty bad. So just take you to this. See, that's where we signed the book. Bye-bye. And then we will just end it here. So if you can see in the very far distance, our car is over there somewhere. Okay, we made it to almost the end. This part in the beginning or towards the end is a little bit tricky because of all these like patches of wet creek and moss and mush. But I wanted to show you guys the bathroom sound maker. It's like hollow, so it's really cool. That's all. Yeah. We will see you guys later. Okay, we just left our hike, the Valagil Waterfall.
If you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Iceland videos.